Hello and welcome back to Serious Social. Today, Katie and I are going to be talking about healthy eating and how the rise of veganism, clean eating, and the likes of it have impacted conversations on social. So, Katie, you've spent some time looking at 12 months of data on Brandwatch around healthy eating. What were your first thoughts?
I think the most interesting thing is it's a really wide conversation. There's no one thing that stands out, so a broad level conversation. And the challenge is that there are very few big trends that sit in it. It's quite surprising. What we see instead are micro moments, things that are fired up by either events, TV programs, government policy like the sugar tax, which fires everybody's discussion. So it isn't quite the same as maybe what we see in other markets and other discussions, in that nothing ever really stands out in it. So it's quite a challenge to do.
Okay, and so around healthy eating, of course, we've got a lot of other conversations as well. Like you say, we've got a lot of political things, but were there any other things you looked at alongside the eating side of things?
Yes, and I think there's a couple of interesting points. The first is that healthy eating posting is quite a personal thing. What we don't see is communities, and I think that's why we don't see long-term trends. And as you delve into it, you see that there are some themes but not trends. And so what I did was look at how the brands that we work with can hook into the healthy eating sort of passion that exists, and then specifically then if there are no big trends, what are the themes and what are the motivations? And in terms of the motivations, what you see are things like fitness. So 25% of conversations are linked to fitness and exercise. 24% are linked to weight loss. So clearly there are very cornerstone themes that run in association. Alongside that is a well-being and mindfulness, which really matter.
And talk to us a little bit about sentiment as well, because this is a very emotive topic, isn't it? We see a lot of very happy posts and lovely sort of, conversations, but we also see a lot of anger. So talk to us about those two.
No worries. Unsurprisingly, most people that are on a healthy eating mission and being fit and losing weight are extraordinarily happy. In fact, 27% of conversations mention the word love. So it's a very prideful, I don't know if that's a word, prideful thing where people want to show off a little bit. So we get a lot of that positivity. Weirdly, there is also a strong negative thread that also runs through this, and when you think about it, it will make sense, which is that it's affordability of healthy foods and the imposition of things like the sugar tax by the government, and a particularly strong feeling about chefs and their sort of slightly more patronising or dictatorial approach. And that, again, also can impact brands.
So talk to us a little bit about Jamie Oliver specifically. There's some particularly spicy language being used around Jamie Oliver.
Yes, I did look away. No, I didn't look away. I'm quite used to it. But there were some C bombs used in huge volume around Jamie Oliver, predominantly because of his drive for healthy eating, but with it is an imposition of his drive for the sugar tax has really had that ongoing thing that eating well is still perceived as being expensive. And what's really interesting is not only do the chefs get it, but so do a number of the brands. So the brands that are trying to promote healthy foods, if they do so in quite a tone-deaf way, an unplanned way, are pretty much getting a large number of comments back at them saying, yeah, that's all very good, but try doing this on a budget. And, in a year that we've talked about food banks, you can see where the challenge lies. Lidl does an absolutely fantastic job of managing this. So it talks about healthy eating, talks about healthy foods without being patronising, and manages the negative comments really well. It doesn't ignore them, it manages them. And I think that their social is quite impressive on this.
And so it seems to be quite a key thing around this for brands. It can be, like we say, it's an emotive topic. People are either really happy about it if it's going well for them, or they're quite angry about it when it comes to things like the sugar tax and affordability. So with that comes an opportunity for brands to be really planned and to take into consideration their tone of voice and their messaging and their approaches before they even sort of head onto social. But sort of aside from the negative things and how brands can prepare for that, this is also an audience that loves to share, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. So while there isn't a community, they do love to retweet, to share posts. About 40% of posts will get reshared in one fashion or another. It's more a kind of a supporting my friends type thing. And there are also some misnomers. So the press talk a lot. In fact, there was lots of spikes last year in the press talking about meal prep. You know, it's all about the meal prep. Actually, it isn't. On social, it's all about meal planning for the week, which seems to cause a variety of emotions in terms of frustration, boredom at having to set everything out, and the desperate desire to find recipes and things that they want, which is, you know, great fun in your first week. By the 10th week, you're like, oh my God, what are we going to eat this week? Which isn't the same as last week. So you see a lot of that, as well as, yeah, you've done all my planning for the week. So it's less about the preparation and more about the kind of planning of it.
So were there any surprises while you were conducting this research? Were there any surprises? Because I think a lot of us think about healthy eating and avocados spring to mind. Just wondered if there was any kind of surprises in the data.
Yes, there were. I mean, specifically that, which I thought there would be a lot of avocado conversations. Actually, no, not at all. In fact, all the conversations predominantly were around vegetables and eggs. Eggs featured in everything, and that's probably the association with fitness. And also, there was another few little surprises in there. So vegans, vegetarians and pescatarians talked more about fitness. So they went up to almost 40% conversations about fitness and less about weight loss, whereas those with mixed diets tended to talk, sort of, as I said, about quarter, 25% of each. So it's really interesting that we saw a different attitude, different framing for those that had specialist diets that, you know, at the moment seem terrifically popular.
Yeah, so while there seems to be sort of no key topic and really big trends, there seems to be a lot of sort of micro trends and a lot of, and like you said at the beginning, a lot of sort of smaller conversations that pop up around events and TV shows and things. So that gives brands a really good opportunity to plan ahead and figure out what they want to say before they even sort of embark on social. So that's our Serious Social for today. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like more on our healthy eating report, you can head over to the resources section of our website and download it for free. And if you'd like to catch up with any more of our Serious Social videos, you can follow the Serious Social hashtag. Thank you for watching.